Okay, let's talk about dark romance. If you've been on Book Talk, if you've been on Bookstagram, or even on BookTube, then you know there's been a conversation in the last couple of weeks regarding dark romance. And has dark romance gone too far? Let's talk about it. Because I don't think dark romance has to do with one book. And it all started when H.D. Carlton mentioned that Haunting Adeline was getting a movie adaptation. And people started talking. So I don't think this is about one book. I don't think this is about one character because we have been loving, I'm going to say loving, morally gray, unhinged men way before Sade. I'm talking mafia men, I'm talking vampires, villains, just morally unhinged men. And here are some. I don't think the real question is about one book and one character. I think the question is, why are people drawn to these stories? And I want to give you a little perspective today. That's what I want to talk about. Not to change your mind about dark romance, but maybe just so you know why so many people are drawn to these stories, and a couple of notes of why I think that people love dark romance, which is reasons why I like dark romance. So if you see me reading, don't judge me. People read dark romance for a lot of reasons, and these are just a couple that I came up with that maybe some of you can resonate with, some of you cannot, but I can. One of them being escape. I think for many readers, dark romance is a way to escape to another world that's fiction. I believe that with all genres, not just dark romance. I think that just falls under all books. Another reason is for emotional intensity. This is a big one why people love dark romance. And not just dark romance, but it falls under emotional romance as well. How high the emotional stakes are. The love, the conflict, the drama, because we don't have that in real life. A lot of us don't have that in real life. Some people do. I'm not taking away from anyone. But I feel that that is one of the biggest reasons why we love dark romance and, again, emotional romance, because of that high of emotional intensity. Also, another reason is not every person wants to read about the perfect man. We like drama. We want messiness. That's where the morally gray characters come into play. Some readers are interested in stories that explore power, vulnerability, or control in a fictional setting. Very important, in a fictional setting. It does not mean that we want to experience power dynamics in real life. I also feel that we love dark romance because of the redemption arc. For me, I came across a horror book not so long ago that's called A Wife for Silas. It just was not for me. It was very intense, and it was horror romance. Exactly what that was. And I found that myself, I love a dark romance book where the character redeems himself at the end, because I love the happily ever after at the end. I love that in dark romances. We all have our boundaries of things that we read. Curiosity is also another one of why I think we read dark romance. We just want to understand conflicted characters, so we read about them. But most important, and the last one of them all, why I feel that we want to read dark romance, it's because it's entertaining. It entertains us. It keeps us sitting down, flipping the pages, and we cannot put it down because it's entertaining, just like a true crime show is, and just like a horror film is. These are just a few reasons why we love dark romance. I cannot speak for every dark romance girly. This is just what I feel. It's some of the reasons of why we like it. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's the high for me. I also understand why dark romance is not for everybody and why some people don't like to read it. Some scenes are very disturbing. Personal boundaries are very much crossed. And I want to tell you that that's okay. You don't have to like dark romance. Nobody should ever pressure you to read a book that you're not comfortable reading. I myself have my own limits of the books that I will read. There are books that I have stopped reading because they're just not for me. And I feel that every reader eventually figures out very early on what type of books are for them, or what type of books they like and what they can actually tolerate. This is very important. For dark romance, or if you're going into a dark romance book, please read the trigger warnings. Trigger warnings are very, very important for your mental health. They're very important for the type of book you're reading, and you should always be very much aware of them because the author is giving you an out. There are books where authors are telling you from the beginning, this is not a happy ending book. It is not. So I believe the authors give us a little insight of what, hey, this is what the book is about, and I believe it's very important that you pay attention to those. So now that I have given you some of my perspectives of why I feel that people love dark romance, I don't think the biggest conversation is whether dark romance should exist. I think it's how we speak to each other. One thing I noticed while scrolling through social media these last couple of weeks is that somewhere along the line, we stopped talking about the books and we started criticizing the reader. I want to say that again because I think it's very important, especially what we've been seeing online. Somewhere along the line, we stopped talking about the book and we started criticizing the reader. I don't think it's fair to say that a person that likes to read dark romance, people start criticizing their character and their values only based on the fiction they decide to read. I don't think it's fair. I feel that sometimes we forget what's fantasy and what's fiction. It's fair to say that some people like to watch horror films, but they don't want to be chased by a serial killer. Also, we watch true crime shows, but we don't want somebody to come into our home and kidnap us. And I think it's the same for books. I think we can explore disturbing situations or difficult scenes in a romance book as well, just like we do in the movies and in the shows. At the end of the day, nobody has to read a dark romance book. You don't have to like it. But I do think that we can respect the readers that connect to those stories. And I think it's very important. With all of this being said, I want to know what you think. Has dark romance gone too far? What are your limits? What will you read and what won't you read? Put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Please be respectful of one another. If you don't like what another person is reading, that is okay. You're not connecting with that story. I'm not connecting with that story, but that person is connecting with that story. And I think that's where we need to start. We need to start talking about the books and not judging the reader. So with that being said, let's keep the comments respectful. I want to know everyone's perspective.